What's going on, everyone? This is City Wrestling Radio, and this is the B Show. I'm your host, Corey Smith. I'm hanging out in the Diamond Studio, still solo, as usual, because we can't see each other, but we can see each other through the magical fairies at Zoom.
I'm your host, John Cena.
Yeah, my co-host, who is playing John Cena today, Mr. Michael Vergara.
I only have headbands for my head, not my biceps. Yeah.
Well, see, now I need to send you the picture of me dressed like John Cena.
Oh man, I don't want to edit this even more. Now you're gonna have to give me that shit now. That's fine.
Halloween 2016, I believe it was. I dressed like John Cena. It was actually a predictions loss. I lost to my friend Gabriel. I can't remember which pay-per-view it was, but he forced me. My punishment was I had to fly to Portland dressed like John Cena.
Man,
a lot of people, a lot of looks out of the side of people's eyes at the airport, and then they showed up to the airport.
I mean, they could people. If I saw that in the airport, I would just assume there was a WWE show going on in Portland, but if there wasn't. I mean,
there wasn't. And once I got to Portland Airport, they were waiting outside with signs with a picture of me on it, like John Cena, like Cena sucks, and then Gabriel was like, "Let's go Cena," and they had the music playing out of their phones.
Yeah, if I was Gabriel, I would just try to harp on the crowd to just hate on John Cena as much as possible, just to make you feel.
Come on, guys!
Very uncomfortable.
Let's go. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. As long as they react, it's a good thing.
We're not here to talk about John Cena for the entire show. Actually, that's all the John Cena talk you're going to get for today. So if that's the only reason why you tuned in, then I'm sorry about that. But this is the B Show, and we're here to talk about AEW Dynamite and NXT from last night. Was the date like the 22nd? So July 22nd. So there's a lot of news some news we got to get into. And I don't think a whole bunch of news. Just a couple of random little things we got to talk about here and there.
Wrestling's always happening, Corey.
Well, just like us, I don't know. Yes, you're right.
Wrestling-related things always happen in this new age.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit a review down below, share, subscribe at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all really cool. Follow, share, and subscribe.
It's all right.
Hey,
It's more than all right.
You're underselling it. You're
No, that's the thing. People always want to be that cool stoic kind of guy who just doesn't want to, toot their own horn too much. Just want to be like, hey, listen. That's why Orange Cassidy is so popular.
I was going to say, are you the Orange Cassidy of City Wrestling Radio now, Michael? Whatever. I mean, you are the AEW guy. Yeah, see, there you go.
Whatever, man.
I don't care, man. Anyways, at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You see it right down there below. I believe over there. Boop.
Nope. Nope.
It's down there below. Anyways.
It's down there. In hell. That's great.
In hell. Okay, let's talk some news, shall we?
Yes, speaking of hell.
Well, I mean, this is better than hell. A lot of people are back into wrestling this week. A lot of returns. And I think that's probably the top story we have today.
Slammiversary happened Saturday.
Slammiversary, yeah. And you had a couple returns to AEW and WWE. To get those out of the way, Mustafa Ali returns to Monday Night Raw this last week with his full name intact.
Uh-huh.
And what did you think about that, Michael?
I mean, you got yourself a team consisting of high flyers such as Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. I mean, really the only thing I think about is their group name, which I will now dub them The Ceiling, because that's as far as they're going to fucking get.
Hopefully they're not like that one jobber last night on AEW who met Lance Storm. Or not Lance Storm, Lance Archer.
I was gonna say Lance Storm. That's quite. I'm surprised he's probably AEW bound after he's probably doing whatever he's got going on with Brian Alvarez.
Didn't he say he wants to go back to WWE eventually?
I mean, yeah, he's one of those people who just got released and then hey, you'll probably come back. And
yeah,
Lance Storm is just like, okay.
Yeah. But Impact Slammiversary, we had the return of the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, EC3, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Kurt Hawkins, all making their either Impact return or debut on Impact.
I want to say both of them. I mean, definitely Gallows. He was a member of Aces and Eights in during that time of TNA that I watched a whole lot of for some reason. I didn't particularly enjoy it, but it was something else. So and it was wrestling, and that was that entire period, that Aces and Eights period. But I digress. Yeah, Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson making their their Impact debut.
Mm-hmm.
They've also made it very clear that they can also do Japan dates when they can, considering the state of the world right now. But that wasn't really.
Can we see a return of the Good Brothers to Bullet Club?
That seems to be the direction that seems to be the logical direction if they're really trying to build up Bullet Club as much as they can, even though they're pretty crippled by COVID.
Yeah.
In that sort of sense. But I mean, that wasn't really the main takeaway from that whole Gallows and Anderson thing was what they did the night prior to that pay-per-view, which was that podcast they did, which they totally is
Talking Shop? Is that the one you're referring to?
It was Talking Shop with Ryan Satin and Rocky Asuka Romero, friend of the show, where they Carl Anderson, he made sure of himself to not make it a shoot video, but then just like all those types of interviews, they eventually turn into a fucking shoot video.
Yeah.
And they pretty much spilled the tea on their whole entire relationship with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman made it clear that, hey, if I'm a liar, just bury me on social media and all that stuff. And buried they did. It's spilling the tea, airing out dirty laundry, and leaving it cut out to dry.
And what you're referring to is the Good Brothers going on record kind of saying that Paul Heyman was the one to get them fired or get them on this list that was provided to Vince McMahon of people that were going to be let go. And that's what actually forced AJ Styles
in his Twitch debut, because Mixer, as we know it, within the past 30 minutes has been effectively shut down. Now I have to find a way for a new home. And now what's Bits? What's Lax?
What's a good Christian game and streaming site I need to go to? Anyways, but that's what led him to go to SmackDown Live or Friday Night SmackDown, whatever the fuck we're calling it nowadays. And then it was this whole controversy, which led to him streaming, like you said, streaming on Twitch, which, he was trying to just,
among many other things that he was willing to address, like straight out the gate,
calling out Brian Alvarez,
calling him a douche and
douche.
And so he made it a point where AJ Styles more or less said that he knows Vince makes the calls, but the fact that he was lied to by Paul Heyman about it, and
it's not going to happen. Okay,
it's a very selective way for him to compartmentalize those events. It's just he's trying to blame everybody but Vince. Like, if he just listen, I would have given AJ a lot more respect if he straight up just said, "I know Vince made the call." Okay, I got to stop doing the AJ impersonation, but
no, keep going.
No, he knows. If he straight up just said he knows Vince made the call and it was ultimately his decision, then I would have met him with that. But the fact that he's just like going out of his way to just bury Paul Heyman, which he has the right to as well. Like, Paul's not entirely at fault here.
Yeah,
but he's got to. Yeah, it just came off as super selective.
Yeah. And also, making his debut to Impact was Heath Slater, which he showed up on Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago. So, good for him to be on two different shows in a couple weeks, two different brands.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly booked the best way in that Slammiversary show. Wasn't he kicked out by Scott D'Amore saying, "Hey, we're in a COVID situation"? I don't know why he sounds like Mauro Ranallo, but this is COVID.
Get out of here, Heath Slater.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's Heath Slater. He showed up to Impact, and I think he's gonna be teaming with Rhino, right?
That makes sense.
Rhino was teasing, "Oh, I have a partner coming, and he has kids."
Yeah.
So
they got history. Those were two guys that kind of overachieved in their time in SmackDown.
They were
I remember liking their vignettes.
The first SmackDown Tag Team Champions, right? They released this new rendition of them.
I completely forgot.
And they won that tournament, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty over. And I think they lost to the Usos, who freshly turned heel and, did that stuff. Yeah, I definitely remember that time.
Let's see, EC3. Which I mean, where else is he gonna go? It's EC3. It's Impact. They're family.
Like I haven't seen much of what EC3's been doing. All he does is just stare now. He has a goatee and he has a haircut.
I think he's Dexter Loomis, but done right.
There is no right way to do Dexter Loomis, Corey.
And Eric Young also making his return.
He was the fifth man in that title match, and he lost, but he went out swinging. And Rich Swann, who was there. Yeah, TNA Slammiversary, Impact Wrestling.
Eddie Edwards, your new Impact champion.
He's a two-time champion. He won it first by beating Bobby Lashley, and another reminder that, holy shit, a lot of people from Impact are now in WWE, and somehow vice versa.
Well, I think from every company you have a lot of people from Ring of Honor as well.
Revolving door. Wrestling is a revolving door now, which you kind of like it when you see that.
Yeah,
kind of like to see that. There's work.
Yeah. So Impact, a lot of new people, a lot of new faces there. Actually, a lot of people talking up Impact, saying that this past weekend Slammiversary was a lot better than Extreme Rules. I didn't get a chance to watch the full Slammiversary show, but I did watch the entire Extreme Rules.
Bit of a reach there, Corey. It's the hot take right there.
Only the hottest here. And we'll get into the AEW ones later when we talk about AEW, I guess. Also, next up in the news, the Jericho Cruise. The Cruise at Jericho, baby! Has been postponed, unfortunately.
Aw. Yeah. Who could have seen that coming? I mean, he originally anticipated that happening, like April of next year?
I think it's October of 2021 now.
Well, no, but then the original date.
Exactly, yeah. It's been postponed again now to October 21st through the 25th. If you have tickets, it's something like you can get refund.
I would imagine so.
Get registered for a room or something like that.
Like he himself always said that like he anticipated it getting delayed, but he was just that April date was just him being optimistic, which, hey, not enough people are in this world.
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of, just in case, like, well, why didn't you plan better if it did, Yeah. So the Cruise of Jericho is now postponed yet again, and
I mean, listen, like that Jericho Cruise when they showed it, like that weekend when they aired that Dynamite. I don't know if it was two. I think it was two Dynamites. Like that looked like a good fucking time, and like there was a lot of positive feedback to the atmosphere of it.
So okay, I have a question now, and this is just completely.
I'm not willing to go.
I'm not going to ask you to go to the Cruise of Jericho unless you pay for it. What I'm going to ask is how long after everything is over, COVID, not over, but at least there's a vaccine out there. You've taken your vaccine. How long is it going to take before you go to a wrestling show or you go
return to normalcy? Like, yeah. I imagine like,
yeah. Well,
I'm going to say 3 months when it should be 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be really weird opening back up. A lot of people are going to want to get right back into going to wrestling shows again.
It can either go one way or the other, like utter like an on and off switch, or
yeah. Would you go to Raw at Chase Center again?
I think I had my fill in terms of WWE events. I think like once you've seen once, you've seen them all.
Unless it's something like really randomly cool. I'll go to a takeover.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I'll do takeover.
Those are must-sees, but
those are really fun.
Those are just not within those type of events are just not within my headspace, and it won't be anytime soon, to be honest.
Well, because I think COVID-19 has. Well,
that's exactly
another hot take. COVID-19 has affected a lot of our lives, including
my hair. So I'm wearing this headband because barbershops are closed and it's getting fucking crazy.
Well, no, they open. You can do it outside now, right?
Like, that's so crazy to me, doing that shit outside. Like, all those hair particles just going. Like, what if all of that just goes into, like, somebody's car window and, like, yeah, that's totally safe.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's, like, a contained tent.
Yeah. It's like, that's because that's what we need to spill our resources into in those barbershops. Just give them the tent instead of, using them for do vaccinations or whatever. don't know.
Amen to that. I agree with you. No. But no, somebody else that's affected is Rick Curtis Flair. That's probably not his middle name.
Richard Flair.
Richard Flair, also known to the wrestling community as 16-time world heavyweight champion Ric Flair. His wife, Wendy Barlow, has tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this week, as reported by the New York Post. Also, he was spotted driving around town without a mask on.
With a Starbucks drive-through.
Paying with cash.
I mean, listen, he
took no precautions. He said, I'm going to pay in cash, no face mask, and my wife has COVID.
Probably thought being in a car was all that you needed.
No, listen, baby, there's a window right here, and I don't know. I'm working on my Ric Flair impersonation.
Yeah, and so New York Post posted that story saying straight up, like, they according to the New York Post, they themselves said from a source that Ric Flair tested positive for COVID-19, which Rick just adamantly denied immediately as soon as that was posted.
Well, it is a lie. It is a lie. And here's why. It is a lie. Ric Flair did not test positive for coronavirus. Ric Flair. Richard Flair probably did. How many of those guys do that, though? Hogan did that. To try to get out of the
It's a fucking health issue right here, dude. Like, if you're trying to work COVID into a shoot or shoot COVID into a work.
You're telling me the person, I didn't lie about my COVID status. I've been open about being negative for COVID. That was a few weeks ago. Probably should
nothing but positive thoughts going your way.
But what I'm saying is that I believe if people are saying that he tested positive and he's denying it, and if he's lying, then that's probably the reasoning behind it. If he gets caught, well, Ric Flair, my character, you asked if Ric Flair tested positive. He didn't, but Richard Flair did. Yeah. He didn't say if Richard Flair. So that's just my thought on it.
What a totally not dangerous, dumb thing to inflict upon everyone around you.
Well, he has been on quoted saying that he has been living in the basement of his house when his wife has been living upstairs. They've been completely separated.
Good on Rick for living on the basement when he could have easily just sent Wendy to the basement.
He's like, Wendy,
you would think a person like Ric Flair would be doing that type of shit, but hey,
come down here. No, well, there's a back door to the basement, so he can.
Don't they live in like a 48,000 square foot home or something? Which fair game, probably.
Good for Rick, even though, but it's just
fuck him. On a
Starbucks. I don't know.
He said no. He didn't wear a mask. That just tells you what the type of person you are. Like, I mean,
okay. Here's the thing.
Him and Hikaru Shida.
Here's the thing. I take my mask off while I'm driving, but when I go through a drive-through, I put it back.
It's airborne, bro. COVID's airborne.
COVID's airborne in the molecules of the spores of spit and stuff like that. That's why.
Yeah, but it travels.
Yeah, but if you're not around somebody within 6 to 30 feet, then you're fine.
It's better to be safe than sorry, man.
Yeah, but I'm not going to. No.
Of course.
I understand. But when I'm around people, I always wear my mask.
Mm.
And he wasn't. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you should always be wearing a mask 24/7 the second you're outside. But try to wear a mask as much as you can when you're near people. Social distance.
I can say with absolute confidence that you should be wearing a mask whenever you're outside. That's where I stand.
Okay.
I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but
I will probably get flack too. But you know what? As they say, heat is still attention, right?
And look where that got us, Corey.
Anyways, let's move on to our next piece of news before we get into more trouble, which isn't really news. But did you watch Being the Elite this week?
Oh, yes. Totally did. 30 minutes, which
it looks like that's
they're getting long. They're getting long in the tooth. I mean, I know they literally called one of those shows. This show was 29 minutes long, but boy,
I think that's the ongoing thing we're going to start seeing from the Bucks and Being the Elite is 30-minute episodes of Being the Elite. And there is like 4 minutes at the end. Like, if you like this video, please click subscribe.
Not 4 minutes. It's like a minute. I'm telling you where you think you're going. What happened? Even though I know.
Let's got a little rundown here. When Nick, Matt, I'm not going to go through a rundown. It was fun. It was good.
It was great.
The only thing I can say about it is that, Kenny Omega, that whole spot, they further explored the heel turn, which I liked.
I really liked it too. It's very much just it's a supplemental. It's great supplemental material for things that you want to dive deeper into. Like, I want to see what, like, it's not necessarily stuff they have enough time for in Dynamite, but they'll definitely have enough time for it on the 30 minutes of being the Elite. The whole dynamic between Adam Page and Adam Page and Kenny Omega continues to bring intrigue to me. That is still like the number one program for me.
Kenny Omega
of all of AEW.
Kenny Omega upset with Hangman Page for drinking with FTR in the bar the other night last week, and
which was further expanded upon in this week's Dynamite as well. A little bit, but not too much.
Kenny Omega then went to go to apologize to Marco Stunt. Marco's like, they told me never to meet your heroes, and
then Kenny Omega leaves the room and just calls him a fucking pussy.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean,
I'm really looking forward to when Kenny Omega completely turns. I hope they don't subvert my expectations in this regard. I think
we're getting that full turn. The Bucks, the whole is turning.
Oh no, I legit just think it's going to be Kenny for now. I think it's going to be a drip serve. I think it's just going to be a slow drip, and I think Kenny Omega would be the. Who knows? Like, he could totally just, and then him going for Moxley at the title. Wrestling is great. Wrestling is at its best when it writes itself. No, wrestling is at its best when it writes itself, and I just hope like Khan and company just is willing to capitalize on this, because they, it's always nice to know where they're going.
Well, because the start of the show is when the Bucks got into town, and Nick was like, "Hey, do you have a shirt, Matt? I forgot to pack all my shirts." That's when Matt busted out with a Young Bucks Bullet Club shirt. They start reminiscing on the past, talking about Evil being the new leader. Isn't Evil running Bullet Club now? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh my God. But that, I don't know. That just to me signaled that, okay, we might see a Bucks heel turn with Kenny Omega. The cleaner, the old Bucks,
I chalked that up as to Bucks and Gallows and Anderson just shooting the shit, just kind of fucking with each other in a throwaway BTE set. I wouldn't think too much. I wouldn't think too much about that. It was just more or less to establish that Gallows and Anderson and Bucks are cool, but distinctively just the Bucks. Because I can definitely see someone like a Cody or a Kenny or a Tony Khan just being completely fucking still having heat with those guys. Because I mean, who else? I mean, just by process of elimination at that point. Because
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, Gallows and Anderson, they, in Talking Shop, they said that they're cool with the Bucks, but they still have a good amount of heat with some people in AEW because of the fact that if you listen to Talking Shop, they super laid out they were originally going to be the guys who would lay out the Elites in the first episode of Dynamite. It was going to be about that's how far into the plans that they were willing to go with Gallows.
What weren't Gallows and Anderson already a part of WWE at that point?
Well, because remember they signed at that point, like during that turning point. Like there could have been.
So that was like 2018, right?
Dude, they started in 2019, dude. Dynamite started in fall 2019. Remember when we talked about when Gallows?
Yeah. When they made the announcement, when they made the okay, up from
their
WWE.
Contract was up, and so but then they signed to come like around that time period, because their 90 days would have been up by the time Dynamite started.
Sorry, I thought you meant from New Japan and
no,
WWE altogether.
So when that happened, they, I mean, Carl Anderson, he himself was like he himself said, like Matt Jackson said, they're gonna get fucked over there. What the fuck are they doing? And lo and behold, like Matt Jackson making the easiest prediction of all time, all of that shit came true. And Gallows and Anderson, Carl Anderson, he himself has since said, like, not signing with AEW was the biggest regret that they've ever had. And think about the fucking balls that Triple H said when they were talking to Carl Anderson, when he was talking to Carl Anderson, saying AEW is not a sure thing, but WWE will be a sure thing. And lo and behold, they fucking fire them during in the middle of a pandemic. It's just that's what you're dealing with, Rey Mysterio. That's what you're dealing with, Kairi Sane.
Oh, well, Kairi Sane has a contract still, right?
No, she's ostensibly, as of Monday, that was kind of like.
They said that was her last day, but they didn't say that was her contract was completely over.
I don't know her contract situation, but all signs pointing to saying that,
they filmed Monday Night Raw for next week already.
Yeah, and everybody's just assuming, betting dollars to donuts, that is kind of like the last hurrah. Yeah,
Shayna will take her out in like a match against, I don't know, Kairi versus Asuka. Shayna takes them both out.
But yeah, being the Elite, that segment was just more or less kind of just amending the bridges, I guess, with the relationship with them, with the Bucks, and I think specifically to the Bucks, which, more power to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just the only problem I have with the show is that
it's too long.
No, they don't explore any of the story outlines or the story on the show on Dynamite. They go, oh well, Kenny Omega,
I think it's mostly just they want to treat being the Elite as sort of not necessarily more like the deleted scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the supplemental material. It's not mandatory, but it's there if you want. It's like kind of like AEW Dark, but instead of matches, it's storylines. Yeah. But I definitely enjoy what they're doing. One of my favorite segments of being the Elite this week was their over 50 seconds for the plus 50 crowd, which
plus 50 seconds for the plus 50.
Yeah, where they're trying to figure out ways to appeal to that.
They're just gardening. It's
sweet audience, because that is the one audience that just alludes to them day in and day out. It's the over.
Is it bad that I found it interesting? I was like, what are they planting?
I mean, I've never seen that type of device before where you just straight up have like water filters where it just kind of spills onto each other.
I know. I was like, that's really cool.
kind of into it. I wonder what else is he going to do.
I also, the Dark Order segments were really
those are always those. And they also know that those are beginning to be becoming the highlight, because Brandon Cutler comes up to the best friends and like, Dark Order is kind of just stealing your shine. Like, what do you got this week? And they continue to recur that whole entire bit of best friends not thinking up of ideas.
Well, they're going to kill Brandon Cutler, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's what they said.
Let's just kill him. Oh, finally! But no, the Dark Order saying, what's the tag team's name? I keep wanting.
Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Silver's the bald one. Alex Reynolds is the guy with the long hair.
And they're great. They're trying to recruit Nyla Rose, and you're like, you're a beast. I'm a beast. Check this out. Look, we're both beast. You want to join Dark Order?
And I've got to say, bro, like, and it is bar none the best use of Brody Lee, like so far in his entire AEW run. I think it's mostly because Brody Lee is really good at swearing. Like, the way his delivery, his intensity is something that can only be delivered through the way his cadence. Yeah.
He says the F word very well.
Yeah. And the papers, just this entire shtick. Like, he still retains, the villain, the heel side of his character, but still delivering the levity that being the Elite, comes to offer, which, that's great. You love it. You love to see when compromises like that work out.
Yeah. And I think in our last piece of news, something that just kind of came up recently this morning, in an interview released Thursday morning, AEW president and creative lead Tony Khan talked with Sports Illustrated on his decision to bring back the returning Sammy Guevara to AEW Dynamite, ending his 30-day suspension.
Yeah, we'll probably just talk about this right now. He ended the show. He ended Dynamite. Well, more or less, costing Jurassic Express the tag team main event.
Look at that, we did it.
What?
We didn't call him Lucha Express.
I always called him Jurassic Express. I mean, I know you.
You got to cut to all the video of both of us calling.
I'm not doing any more editing, Corey. No. So yeah, Tony Khan, even though they said it was a month-long suspension, it was actually 3 weeks.
Says
and they filmed and that show was filmed last week.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
2 weeks technically.
So yeah, Sammy Guevara, like, listen,
Well, hold on. This is what Tony Khan went on to say. Yeah. He says, I meant what I said about reevaluating his status with the company based on his conduct. Sammy needed to make a lot of strides to keep his job and make amends for stuff he shouldn't have said. None of us knew he said those things, and its stuff was years old, but that doesn't make it right. So he's basically saying, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could say, just do better next time.
I mean,
do better, Sammy.
I don't necessarily have the right answer for, stuff like this. I mean, I can definitively say what Sammy Guevara said. I shouldn't even be laughing about that. Where I can definitively say this, what Sammy Guevara said in regards to that podcast was vehemently wrong. Which I completely condemn that kind of language, and he should have known better. He is of sound in mind, and that you would think that he was 21 at his age, like he should have reached that level of maturity. But for something like
21-year-olds are dumb, they're
dumb, but then you would also hope that
unless they're watching this show, then they're the smartest 21-year-olds they've ever.
No. But to completely just I don't have a complete you could promote. What are you going to do, like promote his return?
No, I mean,
like that would also there's no right answer to that sort of situation, and you could only just hope, but then you would also just hope that Sammy does legitimately indeed learn from the situation. Like, he didn't get paid. He wasn't getting money. The money that they were going to use to pay him was for the Women's Center of Jacksonville. Like that, all of that response is, seems very sensible. And you would just hope better from Sammy from this point moving forward. And that's all you could do, honestly.
My thing is that I think a lot of social media blows things out of proportion, but in a sense where it's like, Sammy is legitimately sorry for the things he said. Sasha Banks is legitimately doesn't really care about it anymore. And Tony Khan is like, what?
She never said that she accepted his apology, by the way. All she said is that they had an open discussion. So
they had an open discussion. That was between them. Yeah. And obviously, Sammy talked to Tony Khan and talked about what was said. They had to have talked about it. He's not just going to be like, well, we had a open dialogue, Tony, and he's going to tell Tony Khan.
And it's easier to buy everything that's what's laid out upon us.
So
in this situation, had Sammy Guevara not liked the tweet about, everybody's so offended nowadays, like he unliked the tweet, but that shit's there. Like,
you saw it, yeah.
You saw it. It's there forever, and so that
your eyes.
That really did not help Sammy's case whatsoever. So I can definitely see people just being uneasy about. It's still fresh on people's minds. I'm like, you don't want to forget about certain things, but like, just by human nature, people do forget about these type of situations. And again, depending on the severities, that was the whole caveat about his entire situation, was that some people, like Joey Ryan and other malcontents.
There were levels to.
There are complete levels to this, and for us to say that Sammy Guevara should just be completely wiped out from wrestling existence at the level of those people, I think would be a bit of a stretch.
I think if he does something like this again, then it's kind of like, all right.
Yeah, no, that's the obvious thing to really. That just reiterates my point that you would just hope that Sammy would be better going forward.
And
that's the only direction that you got to go.
I think a lot of people in this world deserve a second chance, and a lot of people don't agree with me on that, and I think Sammy, if he's legit sorry, if he legit sees what he did was wrong and talk to Sasha about it one-on-one and apologize to her, how long can we say, well, you learned your lesson, but you're still banned from this company and from wrestling in general? That's just going to make somebody bitter and make somebody, and like I said, bitter. So, yeah.
I mean, when Serpentico, I legitimately thought Serpentico was just legit joining Inner Circle, and I thought, like, man, they're really suspending the fuck out of Sammy Guevara. But
didn't they hint at it the week before about Serpentico and something?
I don't know, man.
And Jericho.
There was a tweet from Serpentico's girlfriend that he said, I didn't know I was dating Sammy Guevara all along. And I'm like, well, forced relationship with somebody of Sammy Guevara, that's not exactly the best type of thing you want to associate yourself with.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was a joke. It was just.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
I mean, jokes can. Whatever.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I think that's all I got in the news today.
Really?
Yeah. You got anything else?
Bobby Fulton's cancer is, well, it was never cancer. It was cancer. That was the thing. There was that story about Bobby Fulton where he found out that his cancer returned, but then there was a miscommunication with the doctor saying, oh, wait, no, I didn't mean this is cancer. I'm saying this was cancer. And I'm like, oh, I would have liked to have known that, you know.
Doctor.
Yeah, which, good news. Bobby Fulton no longer has
doctor at that point.
Hey, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
I can't definitively say that somebody has cancer or not.
Well, you're not medically trained either.
That's
you
true.
can definitively say if there was a good wrestling match, though.
Do I?
Yeah.
Corey, you think so?
You don't rate your matches, but you do a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, that's just how the way things are now. Anyway, Dynamite.
Oh, review time. AEW time.
Yes. Daly's Place, Jacksonville, Florida, all that good shit.
Filmed last week.
What?
Filmed last week.
What do you mean dome last week?
Filmed last week. It was filmed.
Filmed. I don't know why I heard domed, but that's just the quality of these headphones I got going on. Yeah. Straight off the bat, we got Cody already in ring because
we're tired of his intro. That's why.
Yeah. I would imagine so. And then straight out the bats, you see Eddie Kingston, former Chikara World Champion, former Impact wrestler,
No.
Yeah, he straight up he comes out with. Oh, did I lose you, Corey?
No, you're still here.
Okay, no, there was a bit of weirdness on my end for some reason. Anyway, yeah, Eddie Kingston, he comes out with a hot mic and he's ready to just straight up
lay it in.
Just lay it on Cody Rhodes. He says that he calls him I can't believe I didn't write this down. He just calls him out as privileged.
You came from being raised around people like Arn Anderson, where I was raised around alcoholics, junkies, and I had to fight, claw, and grind my way through, and I didn't, and nobody else grinded as much as me.
Yeah,
he grinds a lot.
And then there was one point where he says that he had to buy boots because he recently sold the ones that he already had because he couldn't find any work, which, like, what a total baby face in this sort of situation. You're immediately just garnering sympathy for this guy, yet you just know he's going to be just not.
I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, you would just
even from the opening intro. I mean, even from the opening segment where he said where he came from, I wasn't at any point of this match like, oh, F this dude, go Cody.
Yeah, so off this promo, I immediately just thought Eddie Kingston just belongs in AEW. Like, I am surprised.
I think that was the beginning of Eddie Kingston in AEW.
Yeah, and then I'm surprised we didn't get, like, a level at this. Like, remember when Ricky Starks, like, wrestled Cody and, like, right after Dynamite, you immediately got that whole Ricky Starks is all elite. Like, now I haven't.
Oh my God, Ricky Starks!
I haven't been looking at Twitter or, like, wrestling news sites lately. There hasn't been any indication that he has been signed or not. Well, and I'm not sure his contract situation with whatever stuff that he's got going on. I think
Ricky Starks was a special situation, and they were like, "We're signing him on the spot right now. This is fucking great."
Also, Eddie Kingston from NWA as well.
Yeah, so I think those NWA guys.
Yeah,
it really says a lot to where if these guys
they're shut down. They're not working. They're not functioning. They need work.
What are you talking about? NWA.
Well, they're not shut. I'm shut down in the sense that they're not functioning. They're not like done.
They're not doing shows.
They're not doing shows.
They're not making money.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston. He lobbies for a no DQ match. He lobbied it to Tony Khan, but said that it's Cody's call. It's Cody's call, and Cody obliges. He gets it. And, we get a fucking match between Eddie Kingston and Cody for the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
Kenta Kobashi chops to Cody, even though Excalibur made it to the point that the black and yellow trunks that Eddie Kingston's wearing is a nod to Toshiaki Kawada, which somebody who's been recently kind of watching a 9-hour video of Kenta Kobashi's Noah title reign. That was quite a welcomed reference for me. I didn't watch all 9 hours of it. I just kind of picked and choose. Anyway, Tope Suicida to Kingston from Cody. Kingston sells the knee after landing weirdly on a concrete barrier that he himself set up, and that is pretty much the entire story of the match. Eddie Kingston's poor knee. It's like he got Sami Zayn.
Oh, his poor knee.
Or it's like he just has a freak injury in the biggest match of his career at this point in his life. Saito suplex to Cody. Kingston is just brawling on Cody throughout. Cody attempts an Irish whip on Kingston, but he crumples down. But in fact, he just plays possum to low blow Cody and follow up with a DDT as Eddie Kingston just looks at it. He just points at his temple, saying, "Ha ha ha! I'm smarter than him, Cody." and then the thumbtacks come out.
I was not expecting that. Jesus Christ!
The thumbtacks come out. They tease various spots. Cody teases a fucking vertebraker to Kingston at one point, but they both eventually settle with a spot where Cody receives a power bomb, and Hikaru Shida is just not pleased with this spot whatsoever. She covers her mouth, which should have been covered at all times in the first place. And you see also Sonny Kiss just being in awe at like what the fuck is going on here. But then right out of that power bomb, Cody gets a second wind off those thumbtacks, and he gets a bit of a comeback spot, and then he gets a figure 4, and Kingston taps out immediately.
Figure 8. It was a figure 8. It was not the
figure 8.
He hit the bridge. If he hits the bridge on the figure 4, it's a figure 8.
Yeah, but doesn't he? But then figure 8 is when you kind of just like.
Well, it was a very sloppy figure 8.
Use your body as your entire thing.
Okay, figure 6.
Anyway,
figure 6.
Kingston taps out. I thought this was a fantastic match. If I were to nitpick, I think Cody should have died off of that powerbomb thumbtacks. Oh, come on, man. But I think Cody should have sold that powerbomb spot a little bit better. But nonetheless, I thought this was a really fantastic match, and thought Eddie Kingston and just I came off of it thinking that Eddie Kingston fucking belongs in AEW, and I thought it was just so far mission accomplished from Cody, because this wasn't exactly what Cody wanted out of this run so far. He wanted to bring a spotlight to talents that you would normally not see, in a very conventional AEW sense, like even beyond AEW's conventions. This was sort of like it also showed off Cody's versatility as a performer, kind of just showing how well of a wrestler that he truly is, and what a champion should be, which is like make yourself look good, but then also showcase the roster within these matches. A Kento Kobashi sort of.
What I was going to say is I'm really liking how AEW is more of like the community center when it comes to wrestling.
It's like a rec center. It's like a YMCA pickup game.
Where somebody can just like join into the game, and it's like, oh, you play the 2 p.m. game on Wednesdays. Well, this is the Thursday game. You want to join us? Come on. Whereas WWE is a very strict. Everyone works.
It's its own league. They have its own. They have their own Facebook group.
If you in WWE, if you do not work for the company, you are either going to be someone in the background like a security guard or a complete jobber. So where in AEW they give you a chance to shine. So Eddie Kingston is a chance to shine. They're shining a light on independent wrestling, whether these people continue to work with AEW or not.
I mean, it shines a light the fact of the plight of independent wrestling when you really think about it. Yeah. Because we can't work. If anything, AEW should kind of just angle.
Who I think should challenge next week?
I mean, we already kind of know who's next week, but yeah, go ahead, make your choice, make your bet.
Or soon enough, Jacob Fatu.
That would be quite a get. Depends on what how much
contract status is and
how willing. I mean, MLW contracted performers have performed at AEW shows. I mean, look at MJF. That dude was
Minoru Suzuki.
That is quite. That's quite pie in the sky. But we don't know. We don't know the up and ups on the contract. I mean, I would say Minoru Suzuki is a little bit more likely than Jushin.
Ric Flair.
Oh yeah, no, Ric Flair. Yeah, with just full on gear, no mask. But I mean, wrestlers don't wear a mask anyway. So, but yeah, great match and
good match. I really enjoyed it.
We got a Moxley insert promo. He says, "What you see is what he's a what you see is what you get kind of guy." He's not wrong. Said Brian Cage was very close to 6 more months of rehabs with the good painkillers and shit. Says Taz made the right call and tells Brian Cage that next time he won't let go, which, he refers to that armbar. They're really hammering. They're really hammering, Moxley's, armbar as this killer.
They're building up another finisher for him, which is good. You got to have you got to have a submission finisher. You got to have a slam or some sort of aerial.
They're kind of putting an emphasis on his MMA background because you can only do unsanctioned hardcore matches so many times.
Yeah.
And by sheer coincidence, MJF comes out. I thought the sectioning, the format, the order of formats was kind of suspect, because when I saw as soon as you see Moxley insert promo, you see MJF, and that's kind of where my mind was heading. But MJF comes
do that on purpose.
Yeah, of course. That's kind of what I was getting at, Corey.
Psychology.
MJF comes out as he faces Griff Garrison, which again we will mention BTE again. Griff Garrison, he's the secret MVP. He's not the secret MVP of BTE, but he is a highlight where he's
starting to shine.
Yeah. There's the shtick of everybody just saying, who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Everyone thinks he's Jungle Boy.
Yeah. No, well, MJF calls him Jungle Man. He references, MJF says that Griff Garrison is like the Ivy League wrestler, but he says he could barely but then he looks like a guy who could barely graduate finger paint class. Griff reminds MJF that he lost a tag at Fyre to Fest. MJF blindsides Griff with a mic strike. This was in retaliation to MJF's constantly reminding you that he is undefeated, but in singles competition. So,
Well, he's also never been pinned or submitted in a tag team match, so he himself is technically undefeated.
Yeah, he's undefeated. Exactly. He's pretty much Bianca Belair in this.
Undefeated is a thought, not it's a state of mind.
God.
A mindset.
I feel like that was the end of Bianca Belair when she said that, but I digress.
It really was.
Yeah. He constantly asks Griff if he's undefeated. Griff says no. Griff says that he is undefeated, but shoves the mic at MJF's face. MJF hits the heat seeker on Griff for the pin and win. I thought this was a really great showing for MJF. Like, it showed a different level of intensity that you kind of wanted out of him. Like, he's not just like a swarmy, sniveling, cowardly person. Like, no, he can honestly fuck people up. And again, like in a sort of Roddy Piper sense, and I know that's kind of what his idol was growing up. He's doing right by him.
Yeah.
By doing this. Next segment, we got Britt Baker. She's first we got Tony. We get like surgery pictures of Britt Baker getting nose surgery on her nose, which looked incredibly graphic. Like, it was straight up just, you can see the tendons and all that good shit.
Was it septoplasty? I think it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It's to fix the septum between your nose when that's broken.
Yeah.
And I believe it was broken when she got punched in the face months back.
It would, that getting punched in the face would warrant such a thing to occur with your nose. I think it was that Sheeta match, right?
My septum.
I mean, it was your septum is broken.
Yeah.
What hasn't happened to you, Corey? Like, you had diverticulitis. I think a couple of your teeth fell out.
Well, the teeth falling out and the nose thing are all one situation.
Okay. Well,
it's all from falling. Anyways,
you feel better now.
Maybe I need to get septoplasty. Now I know what to ask the doctor for.
So, Tony Schiavone. He interviews Reba or Rebel, as Tony gets kind of confused. But then Reba, I'm just going to call her Reba. She wanted to make a clarification of what her actual name is, but before she actually says her name, Britt Baker interrupts her. She says, "Where are you, Reba, Rebel?" and all this other stuff. And Britt Baker pretty much just compares her comeback at All Out to Michael Jordan
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and then...
Well, because they're trying to... She says, this is like Michael Jordan making his comeback to the Wizards, and Tony Schiavone goes on to say, well, he had great comebacks before that. You didn't have to... The Wizards actually never made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you say that, Tony?
No, she calls... No. Britt Baker says... Britt Baker just pretty much calls Tony an asshole for it, which I thought was a pretty good line. Like it was a good step. Like it was a good escalation of the conversation. But yeah.
Anyways, I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Britt Baker, she says she's returning at All Out, which seems to be the thing that that seems to be the next pay-per-view on the pipeline.
Yep.
Get ready for that $50, or $30 if you're smart. Taz and Brian Cage, they come out. Taz puts over Moxley's armbar, but it was on a surgically repaired bicep.
Listen.
Says Cage is the embodiment of the FTW title. I gave up on that impression. Darby Allin.
Taz is weird because he does this thing where he goes back and forth where he's in
he has an on and off switch in his new
manager mode where he's like, anyways, Brian Cage is the best guy ever, but hey, that guy looks really good over there too. But his opponent, Darby Allin, that guy's annoying.
Hey, listen, Taz subscribes to the tactic of
our podcast.
No. He subscribes to the debate tactic where, in order to get people on your side, in order to get people on your side, you got to concede a little bit. You got to meet them halfway in the middle, but then show your argument just to mend those fences. And I think that's what Taz is doing. He's like, I'll give you credit, Moxley. You did quite a number on Brian Cage, and so.
I did. He tried to make sense of it. He goes, me and Cage got into speaking words, and cooler heads prevailed. He almost fired me, though.
Yeah. So,
hot dogs, New York.
So kind of it's one of those things where both sides kind of win in that regard. So yeah, it's just one of those weird things that you normally just don't see in wrestling because one's getting fucked and one's getting even more fucked. You usually see that. Anyway, Darby Allin comes out to front, but Ricky Starks comes out and just fucking wallops Darby Allin from behind. Darby Allin pretty much like what happened to him was the same thing what happened to Enzo when he ran into those ropes.
Yeah.
Brian Alvarez, he went on to report that Ricky Starks legitimately gave Darby Allin a concussion during this angle.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, which fucking fuck, man. Which, hey, listen, accidents happen. This ain't ballet and all that bullshit, but sheesh. And then immediately after, Cage powerbombs Darby on the outside ramp, and then they just do mounted strikes on him some more, which
I wonder if
was definitely not fun.
They didn't follow a protocol to whatever it was, concussion protocol.
And then Mox comes for the rescue. He has a barbed wire bat, and that ends that segment.
Yeah,
it was okay. It was what it needed to be.
It was fun.
Yeah. Women's tag team tournament is happening this summer. 16 women, 8 teams, and people don't choose their partners.
The deadly draw, which I really like this tournament. The
lethal lottery rules. Yep.
Yeah, I like that tournament, lethal lottery. I actually think I was trying to pitch to one of the local promoters here. They should have a show like that.
That's what local promoters like when paying customers just give them.
They don't have a card. Yeah.
Tells them how to do their jobs.
I wasn't telling them how to do their jobs.
I know.
I was suggesting as a fan.
As a paying customer, as a consumer, I have a right. But yeah.
But this, like you said, this will feature 16 women of the AEW women's roster, featuring 8 teams. Not many details were provided, though. The video did show AEW's women's roster of Brandi Rhodes, Allie, Penelope Ford, Anna Jay, Nyla Rose, and Big Swole.
Is this off your notes?
No, I mean, this is just what it's online on Figure 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
The tournaments take place this summer. No details on when the tournament would begin. So
yeah, they pretty much said if this doesn't kill in the ratings, they'll just kill it next time.
I think it's super smart, because it takes time off of the main event picture. You don't have to keep doing.
I mean, that's what we wanted, right? Like more to the story than just the titles.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna get an introduction of titles.
I'll say this though, when my immediate I'll tell you my immediate reaction was, how are they gonna find? How are they struggle with a singles division? What makes you think a tag team tournament is gonna make it better? But once I found out about lethal lottery rules and lethal lottery rules and just the chance for women to actually get a shine on certain parts of the card. And we don't know, who knows? What if, I mean, it's 8 teams. So I would assume all the matches would be shown on Dynamite.
And what if you get a team of Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida? That's pretty cool. You get to see them train and team up together.
Yeah.
trying to work together. It's.
I mean, Chris Statlander's tweeting about being in that tournament as well, which you would, fingers crossed, considering what her return timetable might be. But yeah, let's, you would hope for the best. Cynically speaking, you could definitely make a case where this is just a tournament built around Brandy and Allie at this point, which, you wouldn't be wrong. I would see where you're coming from with this, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah, no.
If that happens, I'm just like,
but hey, listen. If the teams are random, then how would Brandy and Allie be put together? I mean,
again, it's okay. Listen, Corey, it's random, but it's also random.
But then, in a sense, if you're gonna make sense out of the situation, then you have to be like, well, Brandy's married to Cody. Why did she pull some strings to get this team together so they would win it?
Well, then
then the Nightmare Sisters also turn heel and join the Elite, which are going to turn heel too. With Cody.
But the story of the Nightmare Sisters is that they don't know. But the story of the Nightmare Sisters is that they don't like each other. Like that's they never see Paige. They never see Paige to Paige despite them winning.
Yeah, well, they're not. It doesn't look like they're going to go the road of screwing over Dustin and QT because QT's not there. So. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they completely changed Allie's story.
Boom.
They completely changed Allie's storyline is what I said. So I don't think she's ever going to be with Butcher and Blade again. So
we'll see, man.
Let her play her music, Michael.
Yeah, let the musicians play their music. Jericho's with Alex Marvez. Jericho is wearing the same jacket that got juiced last week with all the orange stains all over it, which, I mean, it's fun, comedic effect, I guess. Yeah. Jericho asks Santana if he still smells like orange juice and says yes as Jericho walks away all mad like.
Damn it!
Hager is also mad at him, and Santana, he just says, "What am I supposed to say? No." Which
I'm supposed to lie to the guy? No, come on. Yeah, he's a good number 2 guy. That's Santana.
I mean, they're all pretty good.
Well, except for Hager, I don't like him.
Oh yeah, that's true. We see the Bucks just in full gear, just walking throughout TIAA Stadium, and they run into the kitchen where the
it's Fall Count Anywhere match. All right, let's go
where the Butcher and Blade just so happen to be around and are ready to fight because
they're butchering.
They're butchers, but then
they were not ready to fight. They had to stop butchering. They had to take their gloves off, and then they had to wash their hands.
Hey, that's good practice.
It was because I was a butcher, and I was like, "That's really fucking smart." And I think what's his name actually is a butcher.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Twisty.
No, I believe it. I mean, Pepper Parks?
Yeah. I believe he actually is a butcher.
His name is Twisty? No, Pepper Parks is Blade.
Anyways.
Yeah, whatever. It's really interesting to see, Butcher and Blade be, are they considered employees? They're considered employees of the TIAA Stadium? They work catering?
No, it's actually they licensed it out to a catering company, which they provide the people.
I was gonna say if they work for a TIAA Stadium kitchen, if they work the concessions,
they work for Centerplate actually.
I was gonna say that's the only. I guess that's one way to get health insurance in that company.
Hey yo.
But yeah, they just happen to be just either that or they're just doing it for fun. Hey, we found, TIAA is a really big place. They just happen to find a kitchen among the many.
They're making dinner for themselves. They're like, here's a kitchen. Let's go. We got these steaks. Let's, we're butchers. You're a Blade.
You're a butcher. Do you know what cuts they were doing?
It looked like some super lean, kind of cheap cut.
To me, I don't know whether it was the quality of my stream or not, but it just looked like hamburger meat.
No, I mean, it was some really lean, I would say a sirloin tip or some sort of. There's a lot of random cuts in meat sometimes, which have regional names. I've seen one time a baseball steak. I'm like, what the fuck's a baseball steak? Just some random cut of meat that kind of sucks the grill. You could.
Again, anyway. I don't want to talk about food. I skipped breakfast.
Well, you asked. I'm sorry.
I know. Anyway, Nick gets power bombed onto the steel table for a 2 count, ruining perfectly said good meat.
Well, hold on. First off, he jumps over that table. Nick Jackson. Wow, there were still knives and blades on that table.
Hey man, this ain't ballet.
He slid on the table. It's that dude could have easily stabbed himself.
Well, he didn't.
Easily.
Right? He didn't Goldberg himself. It was
safety first. That's my Taz Butcher breakdown of the week.
That sounded like John Oliver for a second. Anyway, Matt gets double suplexed onto another kitchen table. Bucks gets drilled to the post, but dodge a hand truck commandeered by Blade. Butcher gets a sheet pan to the face. Nick gets driven face first onto the truck door with Nick's face on it. Jared did a really good call. Like, he'll think twice and when he looks into the mirror. Buck set up Butcher.
JR is fucking great on commentary lately, by the way.
Right, he seems to be having the time of his life.
I think they're letting him drink on the day. Just, hey guys, look at this over here. What's going on? Hey, we'll be back with AEW. Bye.
Easy now. Buck set up Butcher on a table and gets a senton, which the table doesn't break. This is from Japan. Blade gets super kicked to an escalator as we cut to commercial. Everyone gets to the arena. 2-on-1 on Butcher. Blade comes out with a chair. Butcher gets out the table. Blade goes for a flip. Blade goes for a flip to the outside. He was supposed to hit the table that was draped onto the barrier. Misses completely. His arm just collides with the side of the table, and you would just pray it just wasn't dislocated on collision. Yeah. And this was a taped show, and I felt like they had no choice but to include it. But like Blade was not his write-off. Like he continued on the match. I feel like you could have easily just cut that out, but I guess they had time to fill. Yeah. Bucks double team Butcher, putting over his toughness. Sharpshooter crossface combination on Butcher from the Bucks, but Blade stops it. They all go to the outside. Tables are both set up to both sides all symmetrical like, which you know exactly what's coming after that. BTE trigger on Blade. Both Butcher and Blade are laid out on both tables. Both Bucks climb up. Matt does an elbow drop. Nick does a 450 at the same time. They both pin the Butcher and the Blade. Knox counts to 3 for the both of them. And the Bucks win an absolutely fucking insane match to close out this hour, which, in my opinion, just seemed like it was on a higher quality of cocaine than usual. What'd you think, Corey?
This match? It was good. I watched in the background. It was. I mean, I don't take notes on someone else's show. Come on.
This was an absolutely insane match.
It was a hardcore match. It was a hardcore Bucks match. Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere. There's some things about Falls Count Anywhere matches where it just looks super fake to me sometimes. Like when they're pinning someone on a table and they're just like.
I'm willing to suspend my disbelief in certain situations like that in Falls Count Anywhere. Yeah. Like it was. I swear, like just the amount of mileage that. Like AEW is willing to get with this TIAA stadium, which I plan not to say ever again, but I probably will. Just like Tony Khan, just like, hey guys, you party at my house, you get to do whatever the fuck you want. That's kind of what the vibe I get out of this entire match and Stadium Stampede.
Dad's on his birthday retreat, guys. We get the whole stadium to ourselves this week.
Woo!
Hey, woo!
I got the 6-pack. Anyway, yeah. This match closed out the hour, and I had to say, like this felt like 30 minutes. Yeah. Honestly, like this flew by. I think honestly, this is one of the best first hours Dynamite like AEW has ever done in the history of Dynamite. This was really, really good at this point. Alex Marvez, he sees Jake the Snake and Lance Marcher mid-murder once again. He smashes one jobber, it's like straight to the ceiling, and that.
So I was saying that ceiling.
Laugh out of me. That ceiling.
That the Joker.
Yeah. Lance Archer once again whispers.
He was gassed.
Oh yeah, no, he was. God. Yeah.
Oh God, what am I trying to say? Oh God.
And that. Again,
it was like that episode of The Office where Kevin runs around the whole group of people and he's like, "Hold on," and he has to like sit down to gain his wind back, and he throws up. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that, but no.
Oh, you wanted Lance Archer to throw up?
Yes.
That would be.
He's gonna puke. I mean, if they were making fun of Extreme Rules all night.
They could have easily. AEW has done less low hanging fruit in that regard. Like had this been like 6 months ago and that event of Extreme Rules happened, I would have definitely seen like a BTE rib on that, but I guess they're just more busy now. Diamante versus Evilise, your one women's match of the night. Insert promo. Oh, yeah.
I would say the Puerto Rican gang fight, because these women both are from Puerto Rico, and then they both came out wearing like repping different sets. One girl wearing all red, like the red bandana, red hair, red kick pad.
Well, again, like I said last week, player 1, player 2.
Well, yeah, it was very. It was like, oh damn, all right, he's great. And the other girl comes out wearing all black.
It's like Katana and Jade.
Yeah.
Or Melina. Insert promo from Swole. She just threatens Britt Baker. She says she'll return it all out as well.
I didn't like that it would, because it was during the match. It just cut to, we got what Big Swole has to say.
I mean, like,
doesn't matter.
Honestly, like, but then honestly, like, it's Diamante versus Ivelisse as well. Like, I didn't really have that. I didn't have that much of an investment from them in the first place. Like, if they just wanted to, I care more about Swole and Britt Baker than I do than these two women on paper. So for them to insert that, I just didn't think it was that.
You know, as an odd tag team for that tag tournament, I can honestly see Swole and Baker getting paired together.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah. Commentary puts over the history between Diamante and Ivelisse's former partners. They brawl to the outside, get back in, exchange strikes and slaps. Waistlock powerbomb from Ivelisse to a 2 count. Inside cradle to Ivelisse from Diamante. Pin and win for Diamante.
Hey.
Inoffensive at best, insignificant at worst. You know, I can't complain, honestly, like, other than it was a match. And then, a sight for sore eyes, an Adam Page singles match. He comes out. He's wearing his mask, his bandana mask, and then when he comes out, he rips out his bandana mask to reveal another mask. And I thought that was my man, Adam Page, just knowing he knows.
Doubling up.
He's somebody that I was just the one good guy in wrestling so far. He faces number 5 of the Dark Order.
Uno seems pretty good. I don't know.
That's true. That's
like
again, all bets are off at this point, really. Forearm to 5. I'm sure they're great. Forearm to 5. They trade strikes and chops. Fast flurry leading into a big boot from Page. Brawl to the outside. 5 meets a couple of barriers. Dark Order comes out to the stage. Sans Brody Lee and Colt Cabana. We'll see them later. Fallaway slam and Fallaway slam and rolling elbow from Page. Golden Star powerbomb, wink, wink, from Page, pin and win. Post-match. No, first of all, this match. I thought Adam Page, I always was ambivalent to say how great Adam Page actually is, because whenever he's fantastic, it's usually on a tag match, and those are paced differently than from what you get out of a singles match. But honestly, like, the amount of charisma Adam Page just naturally exudes every time he gets on the ring, whether it be any match, big or small. He's fucking fantastic.
He's in my eyes, he seems like somebody who is like at that college level of his life where he's fantastic. He knows what he's doing. He's going to do it great, but there's going to be a level of maturity to come with his character soon enough.
You think he's going to work smarter?
I think he not just work smarter, but I think he's going to eventually give up on this kind of like dumb drinking man's gimmick. I think he's going to turn into like the everyman, the
slump,
like the hero. I think he's going to be the star one day of that show.
I mean, like, you would have easily made that assumption coming into fucking All Out of last year. No. You know, like, no. But that's the thing. Like, oh, he's not ready, but he will be. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that was just kind of like chapter 1 of his story.
Now he's got a title on him, and now you see what he's like as a champion. Now he's going to move up.
He has the confidence boost. Like, they're doing with Adam Page, it's
especially once Kenny Omega turns heel and takes the title from Moxley. Who's he going to face? None better than his former tag team partner, Hangman Page.
And to reiterate, like, and to really belabor that whole entire Revolution match, like, everyone thought it was going to be Adam Page to be the one that was turning heel when he did that dead-eye stare when he was about to get ready for that dead-eye lariat. Like, that was, and everybody, and I again, match of the year. And I just want to say, like, I saw that match recently again. Like, the entire arena knew Adam Page, what they thought Adam Page was going to do the second he clasped on those ropes and made that face.
Yeah.
God, I miss crowds. God, I miss crowds.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. And also the finish of the match, Golden Star. It was a Golden Star powerbomb, which is Kota Ibushi's finishing move, which, again, another just Page just ripping the page out of other people's Kenny Omega's significant others, you know.
Yeah.
Post-match, Brody Lee comes out with Colt Cabana and tells Page he's impressed but is in danger because of a lack of friends because he has a lack of friends despite his rise to stardom. Says Dark Order will always be there to protect him, prompting Tony to say, "Uh-oh." I thought was a nice add-in. Page appreciates the compliments, but says he's not exactly ready to join a cult right
now. Yeah.
Which, understandable. Lee says
not join a cult as in Colt Cabana with the Dark Order.
I'm sure that joke has been made already, Corey.
No, it hasn't. I haven't heard it on the podcast yet.
It's on his T-shirt, Corey.
What? Join the cult?
It says Colt Cabana.
Oh, yeah.
Lee says Cowboy made his bed and hopes he enjoys where he sleeps. Lee takes Cabana with him as Dark Order beats on Page. No Kenny or Elite in sight, but FTR appears with a cooler to smash the Dark Order's goons face in and rescue Page before Omega comes in late with his very nice Street Fighter shirt and gray Yeezys as FTR hands Page a cold beer as we end the segment.
Carolina thing.
JR says a cold beer and wrestling kind of go together for some people. And with Tony replying, "Oh, hell yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah. Again.
Oh, I get it. I didn't get that until right now.
More intrigue. Oh, I don't think Tony said, "Oh, hell yeah," but he might.
Stone Cold reference. I mean, it's JR saying.
Yeah. I mean, JR. He's the voice of Stone Cold. Besides Stone Cold.
Well, besides Stone Cold's voice, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what'd you think of this segment? Good? Great? Not great?
Good. I mean, it further leads to the Elite turning heel and Hangman Page and FTR being the faces in that situation.
I still think FTR is the heels, and they're just coerced.
Right now.
They're coercing. They're coercing Adam Page into a false sense of security, and then it's going to be Adam Page who would be the one that would lead them to
get that loss.
Would be the one to get pinned. I would imagine Kenny. I mean, no, I would see Adam Page eating that pin for the losing the tag titles, and then Kenny Omega would just go apeshit like "fuck you," all this other stuff and all this.
Yeah.
Again, none of this could happen, but wrestling is best when it writes itself.
Yeah.
Just fantasy booking, something I've always tried to avoid, but can't help myself.
Yeah, that we do in every show, though.
Yeah. Next week. Yep. What?
Oh no, I was saying let's move on.
Next week, Page and Omega. Oh, we just got a next week of the rundown of the show. Page and Omega versus Grayson and Uno, which, man, probably be a really good match.
Oh, I wanted to say that. What do you call it? Evil Uno. Jesus Christ, that dude has lost a ton of weight.
Good for him.
I mean, honestly, that's one thing everyone ripped on him, and it sucks. Like, they were kind of body shaming him at one point.
I mean, listen, there's body shaming, and then there's just like you look at this man, you look at it, and it's just like, oh shit.
But everyone was saying like, oh, this guy's fat. But then honestly, he's trimmed down tremendously.
They changed his gear. Like he was shirtless once.
I think he will be again. I honestly do. He's lost a bunch of weight, dude.
Just give him the Roman Reigns vest.
The vest. Yeah. The actual Roman Reigns vest that he comes out wearing.
Anyway, Page Omega versus Grayson and Uno. Diamante versus Hikaru Shida, non-title match. Darby Allin and Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Tornado tag rules, which you blew out your microphone just doing that.
No, I didn't.
Well, I heard.
Anyways.
Yeah. That's going to be a really good match. Cody defends the TNT Championship. There's heavy speculation that it's Warhorse because Arn Anderson.
That's been every single week, though.
But it's probably going to be this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be this week.
Up.
Did we stop recording?
Yeah, right. I caught it, though. Just say it's going to be this week, and then move on. Okay. 3, 2.
But it's going to be this week. But
who is Warhorse?
Warhorse is a dude. I don't know much about him. I've seen his face paint. He's on Twitter. He's great. I'm just assuming that he's great because people say that he's great, which is a great way to follow wrestling.
It's great.
Yeah. Main event time. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. They mentioned Jungle Boy bringing Jericho to a draw 5 years ago, or what feels like 5 years ago. Arm drags to Jericho, gets shook, and tags in Hager. So Jungle tags Lucha. Hager attempts various ways to lock that ankle on Lucha, gets it, and then they just work his leg throughout the match because, Luchasaurus, he's a big man, so legs. Jungle Boy gets the hot tag, does hot tag thing. Jungle Boy spams the pin button, hoping either Jericho or Hager just loses their kick-out timing, which is a sound strategy if you're playing a video game, not so much wrestling a Dynamite main event. Marco Stunt Hurricane Rana's Jericho setting up for a cradle for a 2 count. Jericho attempts a Frankenstein on Jungle Boy, but gets pushed off the top, and Jungle does a crossbody. Hager plays the heater and wears Jungle Boy down, and they wear down Jungle Boy for a very, very long time. Then Jericho whips out Floyd and is stopped by Aubrey Edwards, which gets really way more physical than usual. You see Aubrey Edwards just pushing and shoving Jericho to take out that.
She's not taking it, man.
Yeah, she has no guff. She sees that bat, she'll fucking bat. She will not bat an eye of getting you the fuck out.
Yeah, today, kid.
What?
No, I said, yeah, today, kid.
Yeah. Whatever. I am just suddenly reminded of that potential blossoming romance between Aubrey Edwards and Pentagon. Remember that?
Yeah, I mean, Pentagon just came back, so.
We'll see, man. We'll see. They build heat on Jungle Boy for a very long time again. But gets a double DDT to both Jericho and Hager. Crawls to Luchasaurus. Hot tag. He kicks everyone. Missile drop kick to Jericho from Marco. As Proud and Powerful distract Aubrey. Kick from Luchasaurus. 2 count. End of the match. Luchasaurus gets hit in the back of the head with a bat by Serpentico. But that's not Serpentico. It was Sammy Guevara.
It was
because Jericho codebreakers Lucha for the pin and win. Again, it's not Serpentico. It's Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
They continue to beat on Jurassic Express. I almost said Lucha Express. OC and Best Friend come for the rescue. Show ends, and then they announce the 5-man Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Jurassic Express versus all of the Inner Circle. Which, that's your Dynamite. And that was Dynamite.
The anti-social distancing match.
Yeah.
10 people in the ring at once.
It was very as a show as a whole, it was very clear that the first hour was way better than the second hour.
Yeah.
But there was stuff to really like about the second hour. I love to see Adam Page again. I thought the main event was really good. Really, all I really just thought was that the women's match between Diamante and Ivelisse was just insignificant.
It was a fun show. I mean,
but other than that, I thought it was a really good show. But yeah, the second hour there was a clear steep. I mean, there was a bit of a dip in quality coming into it. It was way more apparent, which to me, honestly, like, could have been formatted better. Like, you could have had you probably could have ended the show with Bucks and Butcher and Blade to main event Dynamite. I think as quality-wise would be a show, but then you would think there's strategies to this? Like, you think they format these shows because Jericho
is the demo god.
He is the demo god. You want to end it on that, so the stuff to consider.
It does. I think a show does look better when it goes progressively better throughout the show. I don't know.
Of course.
I mean, if you're gonna have it either go like this or like this, you want to have it steadily rise through the hour. So
yeah. So that was Dynamite. I liked it a lot. That first hour is insane. I think Eddie Kingston was the star of the show. I think he should be signed. I think they're Khan, what the fuck are you doing if he isn't? He could be their next Kevin Owens at this point.
Oh, Eddie Kingston?
Yeah, he's there. To me, he's arguably a better Kevin Owens. I don't know. Who am I to say?
I think Eddie Kingston's Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston is Eddie Kingston. You're right.
Kevin Owens is Eddie Kingston.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to NXT this week. Kicked it off. They are still in the Full Sail Performance Center, or not Full Sail Performance Center. The Performance Center. They are not at Full Sail because, you know.
Wait, I thought they are at Full Sail.
I can't remember. They're Full Sail. You're right. You're right.
They are what they always are. Where they are always
the main roster.
Yeah.
Kicked it off with the special announcement from William Regal. He says, "I have a special announcement." What is it, Keith Lee?
We're having a baby.
What is it, Keith Lee? Tell them. I don't know what it is because they didn't tell me, and this is all through a Zoom recording. Then it cut to Keith Lee doing a Zoom call for some reason, which was weird because he was on the end of the show.
Yeah, who the fuck does Zoom calls?
Well, it just in this situation where if he was there in person, they could have cut to him in the ring.
I mean, like, this was probably like this wasn't really put into the plans of the show, because did they make any reference of Keith Lee relinquishing those titles within the body of the taped show?
They had a triple threat match leading to a ladder match. You know what I mean?
We're editing this out.
You do you.
I'm an idiot. No, I'm kidding.
But no, it was I don't know. It was kind of dumb. But anyways, Keith Lee says, he goes, I am limitless, but I don't want to limit anyone's potential here in NXT. Therefore, I am relinquishing the NXT North American title, a move that I suggested weeks ago, even though it was great for Keith Lee to have 2 titles.
Again, Corey, with the telling people how to do their job thing, I swear.
You know, maybe WWE's, what did Corey say? Okay, great.
Let's listen to the B show.
Yeah.
They go to know.
Exactly. Like I said, so this is going to kick off cuts back to William Regal. What a terrific idea, Keith Lee. That sounds great. I'm like, well, anyways, the continuity of it sucked, but we are going to have qualifying matches leading to a ladder match at NXT TakeOver 30. That's right. NXT TakeOver.
XXX. Live news.
HLA, right? NXT TakeOver, HLA. They're bringing everything else back. The Great American Bash. Why not?
Yeah.
HLA. Anyways, like I said, triple threat matches. The winner of each match is going to go to a ladder match at the TakeOver to crown a new North American champion. The first match announced was Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, and Roderick Strong. So that's going to be later tonight. We kick it off with our first match. Killian Dane versus Dexter Lumis. Oh, my goodness. And this is going up against Eddie Kingston versus Cody Rhodes.
That was... Why? Why?
I mean, they just were like, well, fuck it. We're going to lose that one anyways. Let him have that first one. The 2 lock up, and Dane begins to go to run the ropes. Lumis, he got a haircut, so he looks all nice and fresh and clean for this match.
I feel like he's always had that haircut. Like it's just always cut.
I mean, it looked a lot shorter this week. There was one pretty creative spot though when Lumis was thrown into the stairs and he kind of leaps over it like a running leopard or a cheetah, which I thought was really cool. I've never seen that before. Lumis mounts a comeback, spinebuster to Dane. Dane dodges a senton, cannonball, to power bomb, standing elbow to Lumis.
Excuse me.
At the end of the match, there was one part though where Lumis goes for the Uranagi triangle hold, and Dane powers out, but then they just battle back into the hold, and he hits the Uranagi triangle after trying the whole spot again, and Dane passes out from the sheer pain of this hold. I give this match a 4 out of 10. It wasn't good. It was slow, and it seemed like they redid the.
I mean, considering what they were going up against, like I don't know how you could start with a worse match than this. Honestly,
yeah.
I will never understand Dexter Lumis. I will never understand his appeal. Like I just don't like him as a performer. And
I would love if Lumis, like I said, he needs to be a leather daddy. Like he needs to be like, I am actually part of the kink community. I am promoting safety and between people using leather devices and teaching them how to use these things. I like pain, but that's a personal preference. And
let's hope they're actually listening, Corey.
Well, they did take my
as we claim.
Then we cut to Roderick Strong backstage with Mackenzie. Strong says he's going to put the Undisputed Era back on the map. After they've had a bad couple of months, and entering his triple threat match later tonight. And he mentions Lee actually never gave him a rematch, so he should automatically win this match. And but anyways, in walks Gargano and Bronson Reed. They both explain why they should win the match tonight. I did love when Gargano walks into the backstage area. Him and Roderick Strong exchange because they're both heels, so they have to have kind of like they don't hate each other, but they still dislike each other, like opposing sports teams. So it's kind of like they
hate
literally
begets hate.
They talk like children to each other. He's like, "Oh, what's up, dork?" It was pretty funny.
I mean, it's funny as far as what Johnny Gargano was just doing nowadays. I'm still not super into his character or whatever he's doing.
I love his heel like dork character. He's still a great wrestler, and we'll get there. Next match of the night. Ever Rise, my ever rising favorite tag team in NXT, coming out to face the Stripping Mounties, the team of Breezango, Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They come out dressed like the Mounties because, Ever Rise, Canadian,
Montreal, they have that little, symbol.
Yeah. Matt Martell, though, he does look like an older, thicker Matt Jackson. I will say that. Breezango and Chase Parker start the match. They go back and forth exchanging strikes. It was pretty a nothing match. At the end of the match, Breeze gets the pin on Matt Martell. And it's a nothing match. If you have a 5 out of 10, it did nothing.
The Mountie. That's really the main takeaway of that.
The main takeaway of this match was the entrances. Because, honestly, Everrise has got a really good theme song. It's like this AC/DC generic whatever.
That's one way to get into Vince's heart. Just fucking play AC/DC.
Hey, I know how to get you guys pushed. Hold on.
Are you ready for a good time?
Yeah, exactly. Then we cut back to...
I was going to say a bit of a breaking news.
Uh-oh. Are the ratings in, Michael?
No. Jacob Fatu has inked a new deal with Major League Wrestling. No. And this new deal has extended Fatu for 4 more years, and he'll be with MLW until late 2025.
Good for us.
MLW, despite not operating, they are still signing people, which we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Where the hell is?
Good for you.
How the hell is Court Bauer just keep finding these stacks of money throughout his house?
Well, last I heard, the contract they gave him was pretty sweet. They let him be able to still go do independent promotions and kind of go around doing other shows too.
Yeah.
So that was the last contract. I don't know the details on this contract because
I'm reading off the Post Wrestling website where they cite PW Insider that PW Insider added that the original MLW deals only prevented talents from working with WWE. With the emergence of All Elite Wrestling, contracts have been restructured to become more exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Fatu joins Alexander Hammerstone, Myron Reed, Selena De La Renta, and Richard Holiday, who've also had their deals restructured. So MLW and MLW only.
Yeah. Maybe he'll go to New Japan. You can go to New Japan too.
What does that mean for when was the last time he did an APW show?
He could still do the last contract. I mean, what this contract sounds like to me, it sounds like he can do independent shows. He just can't do AEW or WWE. His TV appearances are going to be on MLW.
Yeah.
But the last time he did a show, last show I went to, I can't remember. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, man, get that bread, Fatu.
Next up, Dominic Dijakovic backstage with Mackenzie Dijak. He's going to face Cross tonight, and I don't know. He's just like,
I don't know. We'll just fuck around, I guess.
He's like, last week you got me after a match, and this week you didn't, so I'll be fresh. I'm Dominic Dijakovic.
What do you want?
Vote for me. Next up, the most anticipated match of the night, Shotzi Blackheart versus Aaliyah. Shotzi has a new catchphrase. She yells, "Welcome to the ball pit." Because I don't know, man. I don't know. The two women evade each other's kicks, going back and forth. Leg drop between the legs to Aaliyah. Cannonball to Aaliyah. Anyways, Aaliyah manages the bulldog on the outside to Shotzi. Robert Stone gets on the ring apron, gets a pump kick for getting on the ring apron by Shotzi. Falling senton to Aaliyah. Shotzi gets the pin and the win.
Oh, my Epic Games launcher just decided to do this on me. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. This match, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So 5 out of 10. It was
Shotzi Blackheart. I'm not. As a performer.
Well, the way they're kind of packaging it, it's kind of like this. They build. I think on WWE they build you up little by little. Like they build you up and then they knock you down.
Honestly, it's also a match with Aaliyah, which which is also kind of a thing to be said. Dude, I don't want to last bit of breaking news, but did you watch the? No, but I just retweeted it. Do you want to play this minute 32 video of Pat McAfee and Adam Cole apparently going off on each other?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh shit. I'm just only watching this. I'm not even watching it with sound, but It's a work, obviously, but do you have the tweet? Can you play it?
No. I mean, are you gonna play the video on the thing?
Yeah, then never mind. But so
I don't want to just stay here and be like,
then fuck it. No, but then there's a video going out there that Pat McAfee did a show with Adam Cole, and it just looks like they're working, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, at Michael Soft, if you want to see what he's talking about. He says Adam Cole getting off the Pat McAfee after some back and forth, resulting in McAfee jabbing at Cole's size. Yeah, that seems like total work. Nonetheless, NXT last night, Shotzi, yeah, she, I don't know, not completely sold on her on the main roster. I do support her. I love her. She's a great person. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
She loves Elvis, which I love Elvis too.
My dad loved Elvis.
Yeah.
You love Elvis? I didn't know that about you.
I like Elvis. So.
I don't love Elvis. I mean,
I love Elvis. Awesome.
I do love a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I will say
bacon.
That. I've never tried it with bacon, but I will.
That was fool's gold. That was a sandwich of choice. Fool's gold.
Ooh, that sounds good. It sounds actually pretty good. Maybe I'll make one before I leave for work today. Next, after the match though, Shotzi, she runs over Robert Stone's leg again, and
of course.
She's Shotzi. It's very rude of her to do that, but she's Shotzi. She's got a tank. You got to use it. And Mercedes Martinez makes a surprise save for the Robert Stone brand in general, him and Aaliyah. So it was kind of weird. I guess we'll get into that segment in a bit. Swerve Scott video package. He's basically challenging El Hijo del Fantasma, or what was his name again? Escobar?
That guy, Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar. So it looks like we're going to get a Swerve Scott, Santos Escobar feud coming up soon. Now, what I thought was pretty much, pure wrestling match, if it wasn't, there's no stipulations, it's probably one of the best matches of the week. It's compared to the Eddie Kingston, Cody Rhodes match, but Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Roderick Strong. This was a really, really good match.
Some might say match of the week, honestly. This, I would go as far as to say that was, we're beginning to see that, this week kind of felt like the weeks we usually get, which would be NXT would have match of the night, while Dynamite would be show of the week. Yeah. But so I think NXT just had their match of the week within this triple threat. I thought this was fantastic. What happened, Corey?
I didn't notice, but first off, Roderick Strong has a custom lower third for the Undisputed Era. I guess they all have custom lower thirds.
I guess Undisputed Era is still a thing.
They are. I think they're getting the pushed up. They're going.
Well, we hardly knew you.
Let's see. Gargano and Strong both try to outsmart one another by faking each other out to try to get into the ring to go against Bronson Reed. They're kind of like, let's do this 2-on-1. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you didn't go in. No, you didn't go in. What the?
I thought that was funny.
It was pretty good. Turns into a 2-on-1 match with Strong and Gargano wearing down Bronson Reed. Gargano hits a slingshot spear to Strong, leading to a tope to Reed on the outside to the other side. Reed fights off both men. Then we get a really good spot where Bronson Reed hits a Uranagi to Roderick Strong, but onto Gargano like a backbreaker. Like he was holding both. That was fucking great.
I want more Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Olympic slam to Bronson Reed by Gargano, but a kick out. Running elbow strikes to Reed. Double fall away slam to both Gargano and Strong by Reed. And then we get another really good spot where Reed sets up Gargano for the Doomsday Device with Roderick Strong, gets him on his shoulders, and Gargano bends backwards to avoid the Doomsday Device and then hits a Poison Rana to Bronson Reed. It's just like, Jesus Christ, man. But I think if you put these two guys in any match, it's going to be great. Gargano and Strong.
That's kind of just their main mantra at that point. They eat, sleep, breathe fucking awesome matches. Like everything else, you could the jury's still out. Well, not the jury's still out there. You can work with that shit, but at the end of the day,
Bronson Reed really proved his own in this match, I think.
Oh yeah, no, he carried it. Like they worked around him
He was the big guy in this match.
Very much, and with an emphasis on the round.
And I mean, we get back and forth moves between Gargano and Strong. Eventually, we get one final beat DDT to Roderick Strong. Gargano goes for the pin, but Reed comes off the top rope with a big, thick boy body slam. Hits Roderick Strong, and also kind of hits Gargano too, but not really. Kind of just hits his hand. He gets the pin in the win, advancing to the ladder match at TakeOver 30. So, I mean, they're giving Bronson Reed a little bit of a push. He'll be in that match.
I mean, he could very well just be a body in that match. But, hey, going over Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano, two guys. I mean, granted, these are two guys that don't necessarily need the title, but it is quite the significant rub.
Yeah, and especially if Undisputed Era is going up to the main roster where Strong does not need any wins. I give this match an 8 out of 10. This is a pretty damn good match, mostly due to Roderick Strong and Gargano. But Reed, like I said, this is probably the best match.
What are you giving the other matches then, Corey?
What other matches?
Shotzi Black. Oh, have you been giving them?
Yeah, I gave Shotzi Blackheart over Leah 5 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering what those were. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Let's see. 8 out of 10. Good match. Best Bronson Reed match I've ever seen. It's hard not to have a bad Gargano.
Yes. All right. Come on.
Yeah. I can't say forever. Next up, without any advertisement, Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan. Wrestling. I mean, not as good as their first back and forth fight. I thought the ending sucked, but they're great wrestlers, great maneuvers back.
Nah, man, I thought it was pretty good for the story it was telling. Timothy Thatcher, he was out wrestled, so he had to cheat and grab the trunks for, to win the match.
No, he didn't grab the trunks. What he did was roll over onto Oney.
I thought he grabbed the trunks.
No, he rolled backwards while Lorcan was still in the holding him in the pin. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I missed something. That's what I saw. This match is not my cup of tea, though. So I give it a 6 out of 10, but I know it's good because they're good wrestlers. So
it was a great match. I give it a 8 out of 10.
Jesus. The ending was dumb. Like I said, when Oney Lorcan had a hold on Timothy Thatcher and Timothy Thatcher rolled backwards to pin Oney Lorcan. But it seems the only way to keep this feud going. So, and it had 2 commercial breaks too. So I was already kind of like exhausted by it.
So your solution to this is 2 out of 3 falls.
Cut it short. Yeah, exactly. Iron Man match or Ultimate Submission match. There you go. Then we cut to Robert Stone backstage. Mercedes Martinez walks up. She wants a manager, basically. She doesn't want to.
I'd like to see the manager, please.
And it's Robert Stone because Mercedes Martinez officially has joined the Robert Stone brand. So.
Quite the get.
Finn Balor video package. He says he doesn't need any charity from Keith Lee. He says that title should be mine. But next week, I'm calling out my opponents in the triple threat match. Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher. No, it's William Regal. I'm sorry. Basically, Finn Balor, Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher. A really weird combination triple threat match next week for a ladder match spot.
I don't know how. I mean, you push Dexter Lumis. You don't want to beat him. As much as I don't like Dexter Lumis, you're just being counterproductive if you beat him that way, or it's a way to protect him. I don't know. I would rather just watch fucking Timothy. It's Timothy Thatcher in the third guy. Yeah, I'd rather just see that match.
I mean, I would too.
But then you don't want to beat either of those guys too. So who the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, Oney Lorcan can come out and get involved somehow.
Yeah, totally. But then why would Oney Lorcan do it if he just
because he's having a feud with Thatcher. He doesn't want him to have a title shot. He's like, "You're not a real wrestler. I'm a real wrestler." And then we go next week. Like I said, Finn Balor, Dexter Lumis, Thatcher. I think the only match advertised for next week. So we cut to our main event of the day: Karrion Kross versus Dominik Dijakovic.
Main event of the day, like it's a soup of the day or something.
Main event of the day. We got the Karrion Kross over here.
Ooh.
Anyways, Kross, I didn't know this. He was trained by Disco Inferno.
Yeah.
And Dijak was trained by Brian Fury.
Of Tekken?
I don't know. There was no link to his name, but there was a man named Brian Fury.
Oh, also, Keith Lee, in the beginning of the show, he acknowledged the passing of his trainer, Killer Tim Brooks, as
Yeah, I mean, he did
one of
last
the main
week
reasons.
and the week before too.
Yeah, but they made a graph. It was actually kind of nice that they actually made a graphic, and Keith Lee made a reference to it as well, which, good on. That's quite the legacy, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. Dijak goes for a feast your eyes early, but Cross reverses to a Doomsday Saito. They reverse out of that. They go back and forth. Saito eventually to Dijak. Sit down chokeslam to Cross. Tope con hero to Cross.
Oh!
Cross stepping on Dijak's head under the ring, but kind of under behind the stairs as well. Cross then boots the stairs into Dijak's head, but he doesn't want the countout victory, so he carries Dijak into the ring. Carries him into the ring. That's when Keith Lee comes out, and he said, "I'll end this for you, Dominic." He says, I'll do it. It's my call."
This was Rocky IV. Apollo and Carrie.
It was, yeah.
And Dijak was Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't you stop this fight!" And well, you know what happens.
Dominic Dijakovic in his last breath says, "I got this. Don't end the match. It's my call." The cross jacket is applied to Dijak, and Dijak dies in Cross's hands. No,
he doesn't actually die, audience.
No, he just passes out, guys. Don't worry. There would have been that would have been our leading story if that actually happened.
Dijak gets killed by Killer Cross.
I mean, if he died in wrestling, that'd probably be our top story.
Anyway.
This match,
I loved it was. I know it was really, that end segment was really cheesy, but they went all the. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
But then the fact that they went with this and they went all the way with it, I was into it. I was just like, the way it was shot. You have the over the shoulder with Keith Lee just overlooking Karrion Kross, because that's what you're building up towards, right?
Well, yeah, but it just seemed like these guys have had great matches everywhere else.
Oh, the match itself, it could have been way better. Yeah, it's just I think the match. Yeah, no, my main takeaway of it was the ending angle, because there wasn't much to write home about anyway. Yeah. So, in that regard, I thought it was pretty well done. I think Keith Lee, showed him his acting. I thought brought much seriousness to this feud. I'm looking forward to a Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee. I don't think Keith Lee should lose that match, but you also don't want to see Karrion Kross lose that match, and it's one of those intriguing things. Who should lose, or what the fuck's gonna happen? Who's gonna protect who? And
Where's Ciampa? That's what I want to know.
He's probably taking a break. I don't know. Probably fucking off somewhere.
He's like, I'm gonna go buy a new car. I don't know, man.
It was a nice looking car that he had when he drove off. What if he's still driving? He never stopped. He's
just still driving around America, handing out masks and hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Distant while socially distancing.
And he gives everybody his masks because everyone will survive.
And then Lance Archer takes masks away because
everybody dies. Column A, half glass half empty, glass half full kind of thing. Right. But yeah, Karrion Kross, he looked great. He looks great. He's a bit of a try hard, but
this had to have been Dijak's write off too.
It'd be funny if he's just fine the next way, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's a different world. It's a whole other universe. It's a universe. What's it called? Planet 52 or something like that. What do the comic book nerds call it?
Oh God, Earth 52A67B3251. That's where the Christian Bale Batman's from.
Oh, I did.
I'm not. I'm just guessing.
Anyways, that was NXT. That was AEW Dynamite. That was news. That was the B Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at CWR415 Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're gonna get out of here because we have to go live lives.
Release the show.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
We'll see you.